While the launch of the Redmi Note 7S has confused a lot of folks, Xiaomi has confirmed that the Note 7S is actually going to replace the older Note 7. Now with the Note 7S you get an upgraded set of cameras. You get the Samsung ISOCELL GM1 sensor which takes 12MP native shots and 48MP pixel interpolated shots. Now it also has a 5MP depth sensor and the 13MP front facing camera. On paper these specs are very similar to the Redmi Note 7 Pro. But there is a difference. The Redmi Note 7 Pro comes with a better Sony IMX586 sensor which takes 48MP native shots and uses pixel binning for 12MP shots. Now obviously there is a difference between pixel binning and pixel interpolation. What is this difference is what we're going to find out in this camera comparison. In fact, a lot of you guys, the moment I put out my unboxing of the Redmi Note 7S, wanted a comparison with the Redmi Note 7 Pro and the Realme 3 Pro as well, which is what I decided to do in this comparison. I'm Ershad from Mr. Phone and I'm here to serve you with this video of a camera comparison between the Redmi Note 7S, the Redmi Note 7 Pro and the Realme 3 Pro. As usual, before we move on, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon right next to it to get notified whenever Mr. Phone puts out an awesome new tech video. And the skins that you see on the Realme 3 Pro and the Redmi Note 7 Pro are actually by Gadgets Shields. We'll actually link them in the description below. Starting with our usual wide shot, you can clearly see that the Realme 3 Pro goes for punchier colors that look good but are not very accurate. The Redmi Note 7S's shot is definitely underexposed, but it looks closer to what my eyes actually saw. Obviously, the color temperature is the most accurate on the Redmi Note 7 Pro's sample. However, when it comes to the overall exposure control, you will see that the Realme 3 Pro is better. But let's do one thing that we are here for. Check the samples at 100% crop. And this is where you see the clear differences in processing. At the center of the samples around the Sagar Ratna board, you will notice that the Redmi Note 7 Pro has the crispest image with a ton of natural details. It looks stunning and the details on offer are almost flagship grade. The Redmi Note 7S is soft and the Realme 3 Pro tends to go for artificial sharpening. Even at the corners, the IMX586 on the Redmi Note 7 Pro offers extremely crisp details. It is just unbeatable. I also shot high resolution 48MP shots using the two Redmi phones and a 64MP Ultra HD shot with the Realme 3 Pro. And this is where you realize that pixel interpolation on the Realme 3 Pro and the Redmi Note 7S is merely adding more digital artifacts, and it is nowhere close to the crispness and quality of the Redmi Note 7 Pro. I don't even have to say this, the Redmi Note 7 Pro clearly takes the top spot in this round. For close-ups, I have a couple of shots, starting with this one of a beautiful yellow sunflower. The Realme 3 Pro gets the color right. The Redmi Note 7 Pro has oversaturated the colors, but the gradients look stunning and it is not a flat one-tone color. The Redmi Note 7S just glosses over the details in the petals like no man's business. That said, it has concentrated all the effort into over-sharpening the disc florets, which is in the center of the image, which by the way looks crisp in the Realme 3 Pro shot as well. The Note 7 Pro on the other hand brings out extraordinary details in the ray florets. The second image is of a red flower and the Realme 3 Pro has oversaturated to an extent that it looks like a fake comical flower. The Redmi Note 7 Pro's color accuracy is way better and the image looks pleasing to the eye as well. Overall, the Redmi Note 7 Pro wins the close-up round as well. When it comes to portraits, the Realme 3 Pro digitally crops into the subject and the blur is a lot more aggressive. It looks like Vishal, our assistant editor, has actually been photoshopped into a blurred background. It doesn't look very natural, which is not the case with the Redmi phones. However, the edge detection, despite being aggressive, is far more pleasing on the Realme 3 Pro's shot. Both the Redmi Note 7S and the Note 7 Pro have sharper edges with a few loose strands that look odd. However, it is the Redmi Note 7 Pro's incredible facial tones and details that makes it look so good. I think I'd go for the Redmi Note 7 Pro over the other two here as well. But the Realme 3 Pro's edge detection is slightly better for sure. When we switched on HDR, you can clearly see in the first picture of the motorbike parking lot that the camera experts at Realme 3 Pro thought it would be a good idea to drop some acid before tuning the colors. The picture looks laughably bad, however attractive you think it is. This psychedelic trip of a picture is not how the scene actually looked. The Redmi Note 7 Pro does the best job of bringing out the details from the highlights and the shadows. The Note 7S is not bad, but it doesn't do much to retrieve more details from the darker portions of the shadows. In the second image, again, the Redmi Note 7 Pro does a much better job. In fact, you can see chromatic aberration around the top left corner of the image in the Note 7S's shot. You can also see that around the same area in the Realme 3 Pro, the green leaves just merge into each other, making it one big blob of green. Goes without saying, the Redmi Note 7 Pro trumps the competition. In selfies, the Realme 3 Pro's reddish facial tone looks super attractive thanks to the oversaturation. And the image also looks softer at closer crop. The Redmi Note 7 Pro and the Redmi Note 7S offer crisper details, but it is the Redmi Note 7 Pro that offers a very natural facial tone and a very pleasing looking selfie. I would be comfortable sharing this one to social media. I don't know why Xiaomi couldn't have gone with the same algorithm for the Redmi Note 7S, because the greenish tint on the face in the Note 7S sample looks really bad. Seriously, the Redmi Note 7 Pro is really just crushing the competition in every round. Hope that changes soon. When it comes to selfie portraits though, the Realme 3 Pro has a far better edge detection and the cutout looks better. The blur looks still pretty aggressive though, so for the actual facial tones and the believable blur, I'm going with the Redmi Note 7 Pro as a winner, and I'll add the Realme 3 Pro as a joint winner with a great cutout on offer. We shot a 1080p video at 30 FPS using all the phones to maintain parity. The first thing you notice is the Redmi Note 7 Pro has the best dynamic range and details on offer. The colors are great too. The image stabilization is the same on all the three phones though. But the Redmi Note 7 Pro again trumps the other two with better audio recording. The Redmi Note 7S has some exposure hunting issues that is visible when I move against the light. So the Redmi Note 7 Pro wins this round, but the Realme 3 Pro comes a very close second. Hey guys, we're shooting a video at 1080p 30 FPS using the Redmi Note 7 Pro and the Redmi Note 7 image quality and the sound recording as well. As Shri turns around, pans me and shows you guys, and of course I will tell you that as well. As Shri pans me around slightly and we look at what happens. When it comes to selfie videos, the Realme 3 Pro has better dynamic range and looks pretty crisp as well. The Note 7 Pro looks good too, and it has better stabilization plus sound recording thanks to the slightly better noise cancellation on offer. The Redmi Note 7S continues to lag behind. Hey guys, I'm shooting a video using the Redmi Note 7 Pro right now. Do let us know in the comment section below what you thought about the image quality, the image stabilization and the sound recording as well, as I pan around slightly around a little bit and show you guys what happens when the light source changes. There you go. These samples were shot inside a tube light lit room, and you can see that the Redmi Note 7 Pro is going for a contrast heavy processing like the Pixel. The darker portions are nice and dark, and the whole image has a very good dynamic range overall. I like the Redmi Note 7S's picture as well, which looks very natural. Now when you look at the sofa and the cushion at 100% crop, the Redmi Note 7 Pro doesn't do much noise control and keeps the details. This is the nicer way of doing post-processing if you ask me. The Note 7S does aggressive correction, and therefore the finer details in the sofa are softer. As for the Realme 3 Pro, the oversaturated reds are an eyesore. The Realme 3 Pro indoor selfie looks super attractive, but it does a lot of post-processing to reduce the noise. I think it still looks better than the Redmi Note 7 Pro selfie that is replete with noise, and it looks soft as well. The Redmi Note 7S has a lot of chromatic aberration with green color residue around the beard hair. I'm going with the Realme 3 Pro in this round, but I'm sure that a software update later on should improve the processing on the Redmi Note 7S. It just looks very weird. Let's switch off the lights, shall we? What you immediately notice in our samples is that the Redmi Note 7S struggles badly. Now, despite the red color cast in the Realme 3 Pro image, it is pretty crisp and well lit as well. But the Redmi Note 7 Pro doesn't do as much noise correction as the Realme 3 Pro, and therefore the details look more natural compared to the chunky blocks of pixels captured by the Realme 3 Pro. With the special night mode on the Redmi phones and the nightscape on the Realme 3 Pro, you get a far more brighter image, which is immediately shareable on social media as well. However, Realme tends to boost the colors even more. So does the Redmi Note 7 Pro. The Note 7S's image has a lot of noise. Overall though, the Realme image looks better. In low light shots, I think the Realme 3 Pro and the Redmi Note 7 Pro are tied for the top spot. There is literally no competition when it comes to the flash sample. The Redmi Note 7 Pro easily beats the other two. It has a more powerful flash module that offers a lot of crisp details at 100% crop. The Realme 3 Pro takes excellent low light selfies. The difference in brightness and image quality is immediately apparent. I don't even have to go into the details, no pun intended. Although when you use the screen flash, the Redmi Note 7 Pro has a softer, warmer flash that lights up the face evenly. The Realme 3 Pro's selfie just looks very harsh. The Redmi Note 7S needs more light. So we're at the end of this comparison. What you see on your screen right now is the final spec sheet, and it is a landslide victory for the Redmi Note 7 Pro. The Redmi Note 7 Pro takes the best shots for most situations. The newly launched Redmi Note 7S is not a bad camera by any stretch, but it definitely falls behind. The Realme 3 Pro takes great looking pictures, but the camera algorithm favors cranking up the colors, which does not make it look very natural in the end. In fact, if I wanted an alternative to the Redmi Note 7 Pro for a camera phone under rupees 20,000, I would actually go for the Mi A2. I hope you guys liked this comparison. You know what, do let us know in the comment section below what you thought about it. Until next time, this is Ershad from Mr. Phone signing off. Goodbye and Godspeed, my friends.